Hello my crafty friends, it's Krista here from Second Chance Creation. I'm back. Welcome to my channel, the new subscribers. And I'm finally getting this second video up of the sewing box. And yes, I must admit, I bought myself another digital and I hope I don't get addicted. But I'm mainly after the ephemera part of it because I'm finding it quite difficult to find things to make journals when I get a thought of what I want to make. Even though I have, lots of books and magazines, I just never can seem to find what I'm after. So, so I purchased this digital kit, and I've used some of these tags in the previous journal, buttons and bows, that I mentioned there, that I was going to explain to you what they were, and that's what they're from this kit. And the kit is from janeybjournals on Etsy, okay? So, and I mainly just use the ephemera, even though they have like full pages. I don't use the full pages because I don't need them, because I use my coffee dyed pages, but I'm just after the little snippets. So instead of printing out 14 pages, I might only print out 2 or 3 pages. So, but I absolutely loved it when I seen it. I love the colors of it, the combination of it, and just perfect to what I was after. So here we have, now just bear with me, that's it. Here we have Sally from the sewing box, and Sally does mail orders, okay? So her business is growing. She enters quite a few competitions to win. In one of them you'll see that she's could win a sewing machine, or she could maybe win a dress form. But yeah, so let's walk through and see what Sally has to offer. First of all, this cover is made from cardstock, and I covered it with linen napkins, and I've just inked them a little bit to age them because I didn't coffee dye these, and used a piece of my applique. I just love it. A snippet of a runner, and of course it has a nice big pocket on the back, but this is the story. It's a bit of a story to this, so I'm going to leave it till last, okay? The front has got a paper bag, and this time I actually glued the gusset shut. Quite a bit of collage of fabrics there, and seam binding, and this is of a satin, sort of like a scarf, silky or rayon scarf. Looks like sari silk, but it's not. So let's go in and have a peek. The tie you can actually take off. I've just read it through here because it's a 3-stitch pamphlet stitch, round spine, 1 signature. Can't remember the amount of pages, but there's plenty there. It'll be in my Etsy store. And so let's start with this tag. And look at this. Isn't this just as scrummy? Absolutely love it. Fell in love with it. And what I've done is I've actually cut these portions out instead of just making your regular tag. And the story behind this is, and I've put a little ribbon in here, is when I used to be in the manufacturing side of swimwear clothing or curtains or wedding dresses. I've had a few in my time, and it was on the production lines, and you'd get piled up on either side with work, and you just go zoom, zoom, zoom all day. I forever used to lose my scissors on snips, so I used to put really long, bright ribbons on it, so that when you put it down and the supervisor used to come, plonk another pile on top. Where was the scissors? And then you'd have a little ribbon peek through. So that's the story behind the ribbon on the scissors. And it is absolutely gorgeous. The tag itself measures 20 centimeters, which is like nearly 8 inches long, and I think it's about 2.5, nearly 3 inches wide, or 7.5 centimeters wide. So beautiful. I didn't want to decorate it. I didn't want to do anything with it because it has the images and like watermarks and all that on it. It's just exquisite. I actually absolutely love it. So when I saw this, I thought, oh no, I can't go past that one. So that goes in the pocket. So I've got little snippets here. I think this was the last bit from Genie Dreamer, and just some bits of lace trim. This is the original sewing thread card, like I mentioned in the last video, for the buttons and bows. It was in the horn sewing cabinet, and I've got quite a few of them, originally made in England. They are brown like that naturally. And then this is part of the kit, and I've cut this out, glued it onto cardstock, and I've actually popped some pearl top pins in there, all right, because this reel is meant to have a like a pin cushion on it. So I've just popped the pearls in to give it a bit of dimension, and they are glued underneath with E6000, so they shouldn't come off, okay. And then behind that I've just used some cotton threads, blacks and pinks and a tanny colour. Paper doily, and this is a cutout from one of my books. I photocopied her. And of course a paper bag, a collage with the 1949 Australian Woman's Journal. All right. This came out of a different book. Little snippets of fabric, bit of a tulle trim, and this is still a bit of wedding applique there, okay. And of course in the back you've got a lovely big pocket where you might want to put a notebook in or something if you're going to use it, and have it beside your machine or beside your sewing box. All right, so Sally Forth, she does mail orders, and that's how she distributes a lot of her goodies. So, and she's also a sewer as well, so naturally. So let's venture in and tell a story. Here I've made, this is cardstock, okay, and the other side I didn't like when I coffee dyed it, so I've used the other side because it's two-sided. And of course then it's, you know, all stitched and glued so it won't go anywhere. And there is Sally's little label. Here I've made a scrappy little notepad, and what you can do with this one is you can actually undo the bow, take them off the eyelets, and then you know, you can rip these out, and then if you needed another batch you can just make another batch, put some holes in it and thread that through, and then you've got another notepad. A little well, another one of those previous videos I made, I printed out, I wanted to print out some postcards, and they came out that small, okay, instead of that size. Well, here's another version of a bag. It came out that small instead of that large. So go ahead, go on, you can laugh now. Anyway, and I've had that floating around for who knows how long. So I've used it, and that holds our dressmaker's pencil, okay. Old, these are so old, but it's still new. Yeah, it's still full. It was in the sewing cabinet as well. Here's a flip up, and this is also from janeybjournals digital kit. And here I've just glued on, no, I stitched on these pieces that quilters use, okay, and I've got a whole batch of them I want to use up, so I've put that on there to give it some weight so it lies flat, and you can just, you know, journal on there as well. I've kept the pages fairly plain, not too much inking. I just wanted to try out how it looks without too much inking. Some people don't like it, which is, you know, understandable. Here's another piece from the kit, and of course it has the blue in it, so I've used some blue fabric scrap. Pages are all torn every which way but loose. A little fabric, this is from my piece of fabric that I've got. It has all the various little images on it that I can cut out. This is a piece of Japanese silk, and it's an actual paper clip as well. And under here is an invoice. All right, this is from tailormadejournals, and I've just put a little magazine snippet, and you can, you know, put a little note on the back there if you like, of address form, and that just tucks under here. And then on this side you have a postcard, but I've actually printed on paper. Okay, and this is an original stamp. It's a German stamp, but you know, I just like how that sort of, all that effect. It's got the beautiful greens, or the jades, and the blues, and the dusty pinks, and lovely. This is an envelope, and I've folded it in half, and I've kept this with a paper clip. And of course Sally sends these little sample swatches in her mail order kits that she sends out. Okay, so she's got an applique, some lace, and various fabrics. And yeah, so that's what she does, and this holds it all together. I've used the old measuring tape. This came out of a magazine, and I just did a stamp on that. You open her up, same thing. I've just stamped this. Open it up, it's a flip. Okay, another story to that one as well. Got a couple of these, and just the bits off from my diary. And I've stitched that in with this restitched pamphlet stitch. Made a belly band from one of my skin scraps that I had left over, and just put some scrappy little note papers in there to journal on. And of course you've got a pocket here as well. Okay, and you have a pocket in here as well. I didn't want to put anything in it, mainly because I had to leave some room for you guys to, whoever's going to end up with this journal, to put their own ephemera in. So the tag holds it all closed. This is the vintage wallpaper, and I made a pocket, and there's another one of those tags. I want to keep this journal a bit more flat, so it's better for postage. And I've just got these words: remember beauty, desire the sewing. And of course Sally loves, that has a desire is to sew, and she loves the beauty of it all at the end when it's been accomplished, because she obviously made a dress for this girl, and here's a sample snippet of it. And yeah, so you know, little bag, and the headband, and this is all on a bit of a collage. Excuse me, I'm just gonna have a cup of tea. And here I've made just a little envelope, and you can journal in that. And I just did a bit of decoupage, little tuck. This is from the kit as well. And here's another one of those old darn. This is the old darning thread, and these are all originals. They're made in England, and that's the natural colour of the cardboard. So you're getting quite a few little original bits in here. Paper bag that I've had forever and ever. And I've made another paper clip. Okay, just some card. This is actually wallpaper, and an applique. And in here I think she keeps her special patterns. It's the Australian Home Journal 1954. Okay. So it's pretty well aged. Little piece of special ephemera there. This was a scarf. You can see the little tassel, and this is from the digital kit as well. And I've got these little price tags. I got hold of them from the local op shop. There's a bag full, and I thought, oh, I could use them. Saves me cutting up little tags. They're already into tags, so I've just inked it and just stamped it. A zipper belly band, and of course Sally wanted to make sure she doesn't lose any of the safety pins, so she just wrapped them. And you know, you can open this up. I've actually got an idea for a journal with a zipper, because I got hold of a fairly wide zipper, so it's another idea of mine. And this is from the kit as well, which is an envelope, but of course I didn't glue it so that you can journal on it. And here's another piece of a pattern piece from the Australian Home Journal. Yep, and there's a sewing machine there. And this is glued and stitched. Here I've made a tuck, and it was a 6x6 from a paper pad. Again, I've had that for so long. And she's obviously collecting some information on some dress form, so she might be wanting to buy another dress form. This is from a magazine. This is from the digital kit. This is the same from the same magazine. I've just put a snippet of fabric just there. This is cardstock, and I'll just fussy cut that out. Bit of ledger paper, fabric, and look, everybody needs a needle threader in their sewing box, don't we? So Sally had one, thank goodness. Another adjustable dressmaker's model, another postcard just on paper, and another German stamp. Okay, and that just fits in here. Tuck spot, this is from a magazine. Glued and stitched. This is an actual sewing kit. It was also in the sewing cabinet, and obviously this lady did a fair bit of travel. This comes from Brisbane hotel, from my Brisbane hotel or motel, and it's still got all the bits and pieces in it. Okay, and I've just covered the front with the digital kit. Here's a nice big pocket tuck, and here's another piece. See how it's getting smaller? It's just like my postcards, I think, and as well, because yeah, so I've used it as a bit of a collage for the front, and you just pull that and it pulls out. All right, more writing space. No, don't do that. Did I do that? Oh, there it is. Now come to the centre signature. I actually made a pocket this time from the Tim Holtz paper pad, and I've popped in a index card. Well, I've made it into an index card, and the fabric that I've got, that where I cut the images out of the cloth, all the vintage images, it had the word flea market. So I thought, how cool was that? And of course the little buttons, I've actually put on real buttons on there, and they are stitched on. I put them on my sewing machine with my sewing foot. And you can actually put, put some papers on here, just punch a couple of holes and attach them with the ribbon. So for more journaling space, if you need it. And here I've made some pattern papers as flips, and used some appliques. Okay. Story to these are originals. They were in that sewing cabinet, and I have got so many of them. This is just a little pile that I'm showing you here. Okay, I don't even know if there's such a store anymore there, but yes, so I've got quite a few, and these are all made in England, black ones. But look at this one, how delicate this is. If that could only tell a story, how many hands have touched that to take out a little snap button, right? It's amazing, isn't it? And well, no, this is a German one. Believe it or not, this is in German. I never even looked at it that close because I thought they were all English. And my first German piece of a sewing ephemera, unbelievable. It's not in this journal, but I'm just showing you. All right, and of course on here it's got the hook. All right, hook and eyes, and they're tuck spots. Okay, a bit of ruffle, scrappy notepad. Here I've made another pocket here from the kit. This is from Pinterest. Cheeky little kids, look, cutting hair. Didn't we all do that? Pinching some fruit off the tree. Learning to cut up fabric. Learning to cut up a fringe. Oh dear, trouble, trouble, trouble. Beautiful vintage button. I've just used a lot of my pink threads. Pocket, and I've made one of those origami type envelope things. These are older buttons, this is a newer button. They're all stitched on, except for that one, I think. And another journaling card from the kit. There's that lovely scissors. This is from a magazine. Had a jar of buttons on. I thought, oh yes, I could use that. Should have gone the other one, but that's okay. And here's another little sampler. This is from my piece of cloth that I have. And I've just cut that out to make a little notebook. Glued on a measuring tape, or tape measure. A bit of a flower ephemera. And here's that little price tag. But I actually wound and glued some cotton around it. So it might be a little sample kit that Sally sends out to some inquiries. Here I've made a 4-tuck book page, and you've got a journaling spot here, little tag here. This was from Pinterest, I think, and this was from Pinterest, I think, I can't remember now. And I've used a tape measure cardstock, and this is one of my skins, little scrappy bits. And then you have another tuck spot here, and this is part of the digital kit. Had a little piece left over. Crocheted trimming here, lovely fabric. Here I've made a envelope, and in here you have a 1954 from the Australian Home Journal Winter Fashions catalogue, now available. And I think Sally might have advertised in this, that's why she's taken that out, little snippet. Okay. And this is Isle of Man original postage stamp. Another pocket and a flip. Another journaling card from the kit. And what I've done is I've made it so it was doubled up and made a little flat booklet out of it. Okay. And of course this is from a magazine. It's from the kit. I couldn't cut it up. It looked so beautiful. I was even thinking of making that into a cover, but maybe my next sewing journal. Alright, so obviously Sally needed a new sewing machine, so she entered this fashion competition, and first prize is £500. So she was, you know, she's already gone and made some inquiries about what sewing machine was the best. This is a flip, that's a tuck, and that's another flip. And of course here's a belly band, and it's got a little booklet in here, very basic, and a flip, and you can actually put something in this pocket and put something in this pocket. Okay, and then you can journal on here, journal on here, journal on here, and then just tuck it back under here, which is from a magazine. Paper bag I've had for quite a while. And obviously she was a mail order, and she made up maybe it was a mail order. She had to send away the fabrics and the bling and the cotton, so the person could make a ballerina dress. Okay. Bit of bling that I've just popped on here, and this is part of the kit, and so is that. I tried my hand a bit of stamping. It's not too bad, I suppose. Here I've made, I used some of the vintage wallpaper, and I've made it into a pocket, used a bit of trim. It's a magazine page here. Turn it over and you've got a lovely tag. Oh yes, you've got a tag this way, a little tag here, okay, from the kit. And then you've got the bigger tag. I've used the tape, a little bit of trim, and a little flip. And that just goes in here. Getting close to the end. It's a book page pocket and tuck. Lovely tag. I mean, I can embellish them, but like I said, I want to keep this journal a bit more flat. You know, you can journal on this and journal on the back. Just tucks in here. Some more of those little quilted patches thing. Here's the postcard, the mini size of it. It's actually a flip. And here's an invoice, clothing invoice. So, and that's from tailormadejournals, from my last digital kit. Coming to the end here, I've made a large skin tag, and this is Sally's sewing sample card, because she wanted to test her machine out. It was giving her trouble, so she tested out the stitches, and yeah, so she made a bit of a mess, but obviously it works all right now. And then on the back, she must have written an order down for Martha Jean in regard to a pattern. So she's obviously tucked that in there, and you can put that, you can use it as a bookmark as well. Right, getting to the end, made a little corrugated card cluster. This is the Tim Holtz 6x6 paper pad. Another invoice from tailormadejournals. Thank you, Lorna. And the back, I've had this ages. I think it was in a Happy Mail. Finally used it. Put my little piece of string on here, like I did with the one in the front. And here's the other part. See how they go? Large, medium and small. It was a disaster, but I used them as little flips, you know. It's no use wasting them. This is a clothing alteration tag. So she must have had to alter something. And obviously her favourite cotton. This was in the sewing cabinet as well. On look how old and aged it was, and this was the original cotton on. This is the original cotton on there, and I took a lot of it off and just kept the little piece on there. And that's it. And then on the back, now Sally had a bit of a request as well for embroidery, and she's never embroidered before. So she's got herself some information together, and she's looking at embroidering just little things at the moment, because, you know, she's learning. So she's made a few notes, and you just slip that off. You can undo it if you like, but I'm just going to slip it off for the sake of the length of the video. And she's already collected a little bit of information, you know, beginner's guide to embroidery, and also sewing. Not that she needs you know, sewing lessons or anything like that, but definitely about embroidery, and about different threads of embroidery. So, you know, you can use this as journaling pieces. And she's sort of put that aside, because one day I think she will do a little bit of embroidery to sell in her mail order shop, the sewing box. If I can get this right here. It's really not this hard. I'm just making it look hard. Just like that. In it goes. It's getting a bit grey out there again. I have to go and rescue my washing. Alright, and that just keeps that in place. So, yes, so that's Sally's little story. I hope you like it. This will be listed in my Etsy store. And like I said, this will be my last journal for a couple of weeks until I get this custom order done. And hopefully you'll come along the journey, because I'll be putting it up and as we go along, so you can see the process. And it looks as though hubby won't be going away, because he's been having balance issues with his hearing. So, and when that happens, he just can't, he can't go anywhere. So we can probably do it another day. So yes, so really, really lovely, and it's quite light, so which is great. So until next time, I'll see you in the next process video, which will be probably part 2 for the crystal journal. let me know of your thoughts, especially the story of this. And yeah, I'll leave the links for the Etsy store below in the description box, if I can do it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. I'm going to finish my cup of tea and grab my washing. Bye for now.